music to your ears and the music to the ears of those who are listening to you as well, that you believe that this is the time to start up in India as opposed to looking at opportunities outside of India?
Absolutely. I think, good that you brought this up, because when I look at, my batch from IIT, I would say, I'm just a rough calculation, about 3/4 of my batch, are in the United States. I would guess, I have not, done the data on this, but I would guess that, today's batches, maybe even the last 7, maybe a decade, about 1/4 of the batch may actually be in the United States. And, here I want to point out, especially for this class here, think about what your salaries will multiply over the next 35, 40 years. And let's, so as I was sitting, I was just basically thinking about my first salary check, was 4,555 rupees. And academics don't get paid that well. So I'm certainly on the lower end of the spectrum. But, on rupee basis, I can say when I was actually, not giving up my sort of private sector or, salary to work in the government, I could see that my salary has multiplied, at least 100 times. And even adjusting for, for currency. So I'm sure many of my friends who actually did not choose to go into academia must have had much more. Now, when the economy is going to grow at, let's say, 10% a dollar or 12% in dollar terms, right? Over a maybe 40-year career, that quite likely in dollar terms, their salaries will multiply about 50 times. And I'm not talking about the entrepreneurs. I'm talking about those that basically will choose to be employed. In contrast, if you take the United States, which is actually, on a personal note, I would say if there's only another country that I would have chosen to live on, except India, it would have been the United States. I'm not considering any other. Using that as a benchmark, 2% growth and maybe 2%, 2.5% inflation, the salary in dollar terms are, I think people there will be lucky if over their career, their salary is multiplied 10 times. So do the math, I think, and look at the opportunity that means for people basically. So hopefully not only to those who are here, but those who are listening, and especially those who are listening, back in the United States as well, they take this message and think about the kind of opportunities there will be, if they come back to India. I think this is really the place to be. I will tell you, sometimes, because I continue to be on the roll at the Indian School of Business, I'm a professor on leave, and when we are recruiting assistant professors there, sometimes actually some of the candidates, I'm asked to sort of have a brief conversation with them. I tell them actually this, the next 20, 25 years, 30 years, this is where a lot of the research will get done, and here's where your salaries will multiply. So this is the place to be.
This